Morning everyone, ready to go live with Move and Improve this morning. So getting nice and warm, stretching out the muscles, getting some strength through the upper body and lower body. Some nice mobility moves and to feel like the core's working, and we're going to be getting into those hips as well. We're going to start with some balance work. So we are going to start standing. You may have the top of my head cut off slightly. I'll do my best with camera position, and then when we go to the floor I'll shuffle forward so you can see me a little bit more. Take a drink when you need to. If anything feels too much of a stretch, just go to your range, and also grab yourself a cushion if you need a cushion for any of the supported movements as well. So if you feel like you need to pop a cushion, whether it be under your bum, under the back of the neck, you can do that as you go. So we'll start with some balance work to begin with. So finding that nice comfortable position. So feet are under hips, toes are facing forward. We're drawing the belly in and tucking that pelvis under slightly. So we're tucking under, so we're drawing the ribs to the hips, so we're nice and braced in the abdominals. Shoulders are back and down, and we're up nice and tall. So we've got that piece of cotton, pulling the head up nice and tall, chin's tucked. So from here we're going to transfer all the weight onto one side. So I want you to feel like you can feel your big toe, the ball of your foot and the heel of your foot gripping the floor. And as you can feel that, you're going to transfer the weight over to that side. And you're going to flex the foot and bring the knee up. And we're just going to hold that position. So up nice and tall, abdominals are bracing. We're breathing into the ribs, expanding the ribs, and we're balancing. And we're holding that foot up. We're going to add the arms now, palms face each other, and we're going to bring the arms up. Nice open chest, shoulders are away from the ears, and then we bring the arms down. Coming up, shoulders away from the ears, so we're not hunching up here. We're drawing down and back down. Into that flex position, up and drawing back down. Let's get a couple more. Up and back down. Let's breathe out as we go up. Breathing out, breathing in as we come back down, and just walk that out. We're going to go back into that position. So same leg, load that same leg. I'm loading my right leg. I'm gripping the floor with my toe, the ball of my foot and my heel. So we're getting that natural arch into the foot, flexing the toe, drawing the knee up, palms face each other. Now reach up as high as you can. Now while you're reaching up, don't flare those ribs out, draw them back and down, and reach up as high as you can. And you're going to rotate the foot. So just little circles, rotating the ankle joint. Loosening off, and then let's go the opposite way. Keep those hands reaching up and that foot gripping the floor. Couple more rotations, and then we'll place the foot down and just pedal it out. Onto the other side now, so let's transfer all the weight down one side, gripping the mat, flexing the toe and lifting up. So we're just going to get that balance first of all, and then we're going to lift the hands. Palms face each other and lower. Keep that toe flexed up, breathing out as you lift, breathing in as you come down. Nice and steady. Excellent. Keep that balance. And then we'll replace that foot down. Pedal it out. Now we're going to go to those rotations with the ankle as well, in that balanced position. So drawing the tummy in, lifting the knee high, palms face each other, and we reach up as tall as we can. And let's rotate the foot. Now if this is too much for you here, just slightly pop the foot on the floor and do some rotations if it feels easier here. If you can, try and get that knee up nice and high. And then we'll go the opposite way. Really loosening off that ankle joint. reaching up and relaxing down. Pedal those legs out. So if we come into a squat position, so feet are outside of hips and toes are slightly turned out, we're going to heel toe and then on the other side, heel toe to that wide position. So my feet are off at a 45-degree angle, my chest is up, my shoulders are back and down, so shoulder blades drawing down towards the bottom. We're just going to sit into the hips, pushing the knees out. So knees then should track over second and third toe as you dip down and come up. Now we can move the arms forward and back, so we'll come into that nice parallel line. So as we sit back, arms out in front, sitting into those hips. So really your focus is on driving the knees out and pushing them out in this position. Nice flat back, driving out. We breathe out as we go down, breathe in as we come back up. So breathing out, breathing in. Now let's sit in that sumo position. So chest is up, abdominals are braced, shoulders are down, relax the hands. And let's come up onto one heel and lower, up onto the other and lower. And just alternate those heels, driving the knees out and warming up the thighs. Let's go both together and down, up, down. And then let's toe heel back in so that feet are under hips. Let's go into some roll downs now, just loosen off the spine. So from the side, we're going to keep the hips pressing forward so bum doesn't go back on this one. We're rolling the spine, so we're going to tuck the chin, collapse the chest and roll down one vertebra at a time. So nice heavy head, heavy neck, weight is forward into the toes as we roll down. And just taking a moment here, slight sway side to side, weight in the toes, completely relax shoulders and just loosen off. Then we're going to draw the belly button in and restack the spine, one vertebra at a time. So restacking as you come up. And roll those shoulders back up nice and tall. One more time, deep breath in. And as you breathe out, collapsing the chest, rolling the shoulders. 2 heavy shopping bags in the hand, pulling the weight down. Once you're as far as you can, if you want to take that sway side to side, option to hold on to those elbows. Just release off all the weight into those toes. And then restacking as you come up. Nice and slowly, still nice and loose with those arms. And relaxing down. So let's come back into that sumo position. So we've come from our squat position, so just outside the hips, and we've heel-toed each side to that wide position. So we're just going to transfer the weight by pushing the bum back each side. So we should be getting a nice stretch down the inner thigh, just a gentle one to begin with. Nice and gentle, releasing off that inner thigh. Now let's heel-toe again, each side if you can, and let's pop those feet facing forward. We're going to breathe in to prepare, and as we breathe out, we're going to hinge from the hips. So torso goes parallel, if you can, hands to the ground. And we're just going to rock again, side to side. Bending the knee, keeping the bum back. I'll show you from a side position so you can see. So nice flat back, and then moving side to side, loosening off the inner thigh and the hip joint Now for those of you that are very mobile, you can take this a little bit deeper. So we can take this nice wide position, so either stay with that version that we've just done, but if you are mobile, you can come all the way down. Ideally, you want to be pushing that heel down into the floor. Other foot's flexed up, and we're sitting into those hips. We're going to transfer nice and slowly, so coming up, moving round, and sitting down, or stay with the other version. Now, if you are really tight in your calf and you can't get your heel down, don't worry, come up onto the toe if that's easier. So we're just transferring over as we go. Keeping that nice upright torso, belly drawn in, we're flexing the toe as we go. Let's get a couple more, all the way over to the other side, and then we're going to come into a seated position. So I'm going to shuffle my mat forward now so you can see me a little bit better. Hopefully you can see me okay there. Let's tilt the camera a little bit. Just want you to see my leg position when we go into the hips. So we're going to come into a 90-90 position. Both sit bones are nice and flat. We're nice and upright with the torso. We're going to take a deep breath in to prepare, and as we breathe out, palm faces inwards and we lean over. As we lean over, we're pushing down with that hip and opening out the chest. So we're not curling round, we want to be nice and open. If you can here, you can drop down onto the forearm. Reaching those fingertips away and pushing your sit bone down. And then we're going to take a deep breath in and we're going to go over to the other side. Reaching over as low as you can, keeping that chest open. So we're squashed between those two panes of glass. One more time, deep breath in and breathing out as we reach all the way over. And breathing in, breathing out. Should feel a nice stretch all the way down the side. And then we're going to change legs. So we're going to change now over to the other side. So that 90-90 position. So one heel back, one heel forward. Breathing in to prepare. Palm faces you as you lean out. Breathing out, stretching out, pushing that sit bone down, pushing those fingers away and lengthening all down the side. Extend away. Then we're going to go over to the other side, breathing in and breathing out. So keeping that chest open, keeping that stretch down the side and reaching the fingertips. And breathing in, breathing out. And breathing in. One more time to this side, breathing out. So when you go towards that back leg, you will feel tighter down this side. So one side will feel easier. Reaching and coming back. Then we're going to pop both feet outside of hip distance. So like that sumo position that we started with when we went into the squats, that nice wide position. So you want to be nice and upright. So ideally you'll have that nice flat back. If you need to, if this feels too much, you can pop a cushion under your bottom or something that will raise you up to help keep that flat back rather than being here. You may want something just behind your back here to just lean against to give you a bit of support if that upright position feels too much. So we're going to open those legs wide, we're going to be up nice and tall, hands at the side, and we're going to drop. So we're going to internally rotate the hips, dropping down. Drop the hip keeping the sit bones on the floor. So both sit bones are pressing down, crown of my head's lifting and pressing down. Releasing off those hips. Down and releasing off. So breathing out as you push the knee down, breathing in as you come back up. Then we're going to pop one leg back into that 90-90 position, so up nice and tall, and we're going to push up onto the shin. So up nice and tall, we're going to push up onto the shin, extend the hips, and then sit back down. Push up onto the shin, extend the hips, and push back down. Really loosening off those hips. Now if that feels too much, you can come into a kneeling position and just come into an upright position. So down onto the knees, pushing up, extending the hips. So we want to make sure we have that tuck of the tailbone as we go down, nice flat back, tucking up as we come. Let's get one more on this side, and then we'll change to the other side. So swapping over or staying with on both knees, up nice and tall, and push down onto the shin. Really opening out the hips, pushing down on the opposite knee, and pushing down on the shin. As we go down, pushing up. We've got another move for the hips next. So we should really have loosened those hips off this morning after all that high intensity work this week. Let's get a couple more. Up. Good, and sitting back down. So drawing the knees in, we're going to go to a seated pigeon stretch here. So you can go into a full pigeon if you're happy in that position, but this one will just challenge you a little bit differently. So we're going to pop the ankle over the knee, and then we're going to draw the knee in, and we're going to sit up nice and tall. So we're in that pigeon position. So for those of you that don't know pigeon, it's this position here where we're stretching out the hip. So slightly different, seated pigeon, drawing the knee in and sitting up nice and tall. So drawing that knee up nice and tall, holding on if you need to. Should feel that stretch all through the hip. And changing sides. Foot down, extend the leg so that the ankle goes onto the knee, and then draw in and sit up nice and tall. So we don't want to be here, we want to sit up nice and tall. So again, you may need something to support you on your back, or you may want to do this against the wall. And you can stay lower, you can stay in this position and fold, but we're just loosening off those hips. Come into a kneeling position. Actually, let's just go into a child's pose and just release off first of all before we go into our next movement. So sitting back, pushing your bum back to your heels and extending the arms away as far as you can. So reaching, pushing those armpits down to the floor. Gaze is down, forehead's pressing down into the mat. So really push those fingertips and push that tailbone away. Couple of deep breaths here. And then we're coming into a kneeling position. So onto the knees. You can't see me very well. We're going to open our arms out into cactus. So we want those elbows high, but we also want them squeezing back. So we want the wrists and the elbows in line, and we want to be squeezing back and opening that chest. So we're going to close that chest, palms and elbows together, and then we're going to open out as wide as we can. The whole time you're keeping that tuck of the tailbone, so we're keeping that tuck and that tight abdominal. The elbows are pulling back, so we're opening the chest, but we're not arching the back as we do it. We're keeping that corset round the middle and opening out the chest. Push those elbows back, and then we bring elbows and palms together. And then we open out as you breathe out, bring those elbows and palms together. Breathing out and coming back in. Keeping nice and solid with the body. Now popping the hands into a parallel position. We're going to keep that tuck on the tailbone and we're going to lean back into that Z position. So everything's tucking, everything's solid down the middle, arms are straight and we're holding. And then we come back up. And then we squeeze the bottom and we push back. And we come back up. Now we can pop our hands at the heels if you can, and we can stretch here so we can stay into that nice stretch position, or we stay with that Z position as you're coming back and coming back through. Breathing out, breathing in. Breathing out, squeezing the bottom, bracing the abs, and squeezing in. And relax down. Let's relax into that child's pose. And let's just come into that cat position just to flex the spine in the opposite direction. So draw the belly button in, hands are underneath shoulders, knees are under hips. We tuck the chin, gaze goes between the legs, we round off that spine. So really think about rounding off the lower spine. The upper spine will automatically round, but we want to think about drawing in here. And relaxing down. So let's go into some hip flexor work now. So we're going to pop the legs out in front. So option here, again, if that feels too much, is to pop a cushion under your bum to keep you up a bit taller. Because what you want is you want a nice flat back and ideally nice straight knees. It doesn't matter if there's a slight bend if you can't get that upright torso. So feet are in line with the hips, my toes are flexed up. So you can pop your hands here for support at the front if you need to, in the middle or towards the back, drawing the tummy in. We're just going to alternate as we lift one leg at a time. So as we breathe out, we're lifting the leg. Doesn't come very high, just working into the hip flexors. So we're just lifting and lowering the legs, alternating, nice steady pace. Breathing out, in to prepare, out to lift. We're lifting those legs one at a time, getting into the abdominals and the hip flexors. So just relax those legs down. We're just going to go into a hamstring stretch before we go into the next movement. So let's flex the feet up. So toes towards shins, up nice and tall, and we're going to fold down, if you can, grabbing hold of the base of the foot. Just feeling that stretch. So here I'm rounding off, I'm relaxed. Here I'm active, I'm pushing my tummy down towards my thighs. So let's go into an active position first of all. So pushing that tummy down towards the thighs, trying to flatten that back, drawing the shoulder blades away from the ears and down towards the bottom. And then let's relax and curve that spine round. And let's go into an active position, so pushing the chest through, chest lifts, shoulder blades draw back and down. Again, you may be here, that's absolutely fine. The focus is pushing the knees down, flexing the toes, getting that tummy down and then relaxing down. So let's go to a double leg lift this time. So using your hands for some support, lifting both legs. So we're lifting both of those legs up. So you might need to put a little bit of pressure through the ground with this one to help. So nice flat back, lifting and lowering. So there's a slight curve with this one, lifting and lowering. Couple more. And then let's go onto the back and draw the knees in. Slight rock side to side, just releasing off. Then we're going to come feet in line with the hips, close to the bottom, and we're going to come into a glute bridge. So we're going to tuck the tailbone under, so I'm rolling my pelvis back, pushing my spine down into the mat, and I'm curling up, squeezing my glutes to lift me up nice and high. And then we're going to lift one leg. So let's lift that leg as high as you can. Making sure that when you lift that leg, you're not twisting your pelvis, you're still keeping your pelvis in that level position. We're going to drop the leg in line at that 45-degree angle with the other leg, and then we're going to raise it. And we're going to drop, and we're going to raise. I'll do it from the other side so you can see how I'm holding myself up. I'm dropping, so the legs come in line, lifting. Dropping, I'm extending my leg away as far as I can, so I'm lengthening out down through the toes. So we should really feel it here, supporting, keeping you up. So pelvis is still, movement from the hip joint, and then we curl the spine back down and lower the leg. Same onto the other side. First of all, rolling up, one vertebra at a time, squeezing the bottom, finding that level pelvis, so you may want to pop your fingers on your hips to keep that level, extending the leg, and then we come down and raise up, breathing out, breathing in as we come back. So keeping that glute on the one side is keeping you up nice and high. So extend away as far as you can. And then we'll curl that spine back down. And just hug those knees in. Slight rock side to side. And we'll come up into a boat position. So, if you can, using your abdominals to bring you up, shins are parallel, torso's nice and upright. Now your modified boat, feet down on the floor. So you slightly lean back at that angle and you've got your boat position. So from here, we're just going to bring one hand up and bring it back down. Bring the other hand up and back down. So staying nice and tight in the tummy. Your option is to have the legs down as you're doing this. Feeling that stretch on the abdominals as those arms are moving. And now let's do both together. Lift, lower. Breathe out, breathe in. Now I'm going to take them out to the side. So out to the side and back in. So staying in that boat position. Feet up, opening out and closing down. Opening out and closing. Opening and closing. Option, feet down, closing, opening. Now let's put up and out to the side. Up and out. Up and out. And then let's hug those knees in. I think we've just got time for one more exercise. So we'll go into a side plank just to finish off because we've not done any side lying work. So we're going to come into a side plank position. So elbow is underneath the shoulder. We've got the hand facing forward. I'm going to put the palm flat just to help us for a bit of extra support with this movement because we're going to be threading forwards and backwards. So have that palm pressing down, elbow pressing down. So Ideally here we're going into a split leg plank where your top leg is in front, lower leg's behind. If that is too much for you, come onto one knee and just bring that foot slightly forward so it's in line. So from the side, you're either on your knee, slightly forward, or you're split into that scissor position. You want to keep your hips nice and high. So in that split position on the outer edge of the foot, pushing down through the hand, through the elbow, through the outsides of the feet. We're going to pop the hand behind the head and we're going to thread through, like we're threading through in between the gap. So breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. Again, if you need to, drop in that knee as you do it. We should really be working into the side here. Let's get a couple more. And we'll change sides. Last movement. So, palm down nice and flat, elbow under shoulder, outer edges of the feet, and that split stance or with the knee down, up into that side plank first of all. Then popping the hand behind the head, threading through the gap and coming up. So pressing down through the feet as well as the elbow. Trying to keep those hips nice and still. So in that start position, hips are stacked, shoulders are stacked. Opening up. Let's get a couple more. And relaxing down. Let's push back into child's pose to finish. Bottom away, hands away, walk those hands forward, push those armpits down. 3 deep breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Final one, feeling the body relax. And we're all done. Well done everyone, save the workout to do again if you wish. Great way to start the day. See you all soon.